me because the monster's coming.
Because the monster's coming, right?
This is my bed.
Okay.
And over there, look over there.
Yeah?
That's where I work, over there.
Oh, good. At least someone earns an income in this family. Anyway, I just want to say I did an interview with Maya. Who was that lady I was just speaking to on the phone?
Crazy Chris.
Yeah. And when I say crazy, I put crazy in inverted commas on a video I did about Chris from Foster, who is telepathic, and she's on the street, and a lot of people in Foster know her. Anyway, I've done I'm about to do a follow-up interview with her because she sent a lovely note to me on Facebook. Hi, it's the hat lady you interviewed, want to be friends, got a lot to share with you, and I replied by saying, I'd love to catch up with you before we go to Brisbane. Just a sec, same here, Mike. I'd love to catch up with you before we go to Brisbane next week. Hope you got way more love than hate from the video. What's your number? Anyway, she sent me my number and we've just spoken, and she said she'd love to have a follow-up interview. So, Chris. Oh no, is that Chris?
Yeah.
Chris, Jimbo, how are ya?
Oh, hi.
Yeah, we're just. I was going to get the.
Still with the camera.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
I'm addicted to it. You got telepathy. I got the camera.
Okay.
Hey, I want to get the kids some food. Do you want to hop in, or should we go to a cafe here?
Whatever.
Yeah, hop in. Eden, Maya, say hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Say hi, Chris.
Hi, kids. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, there are.
I thought you didn't have a car.
Oh, I'm borrowing this off a friend's.
Oh, okay, cool.
Staying down at Kalongaluk for a week.
I get it.
Laying low.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I've got to be careful. I'm picking up the culture and the linguistic style of the locals sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's confusing. Thank you. I get it.
Chris, with thank you, I get it.
Why do I say thank you?
Well, yeah.
I can explain it.
Yeah.
You want me to explain it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because a few
Well,
people.
I need a rest from filming for a minute.
No. This is because few people were interested.
Yeah, I'll explain it, and then I need a rest from filming for a minute.
Okay.
Because I'm so telepathic.
Yep.
When I say an insight,
Yep.
your mind can either say symbolically,
Yep.
think thank you for that insight,
Yep.
or your mind can symbolically go cool.
Yep.
Teenagers do a lot. So my mind telepaths faster than your mind could get thought to speech. So when I say thank you, your mind is actually going thank you for the insight, or going cool.
Oh, so you're repeating. You're just acknowledging.
I'm just telepathing what your brain's acknowledging.
Oh wow, that's unreal. Well, we'll just turn the camera off, give you a bit of a rest.
So that little bit, your brain went cool, and I said it for you before.
I suspected it was positive. Like I'm basically, people were sort of saying, mate, you're filming this lady. In is it a derogatory thing? Not most of the
Yes,
people were.
yeah.
But you saying thank you to me is validating to me. No, she understands.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be talking to me if you didn't know my thoughts in my mind.
Yeah, you're saying thank you.
Yeah.
You're going cool, and I'm telepathing each thought you're having that's a positive feedback, but I'm saying it quicker than you can get it out.
Thank you, Chris.
Yummy.
Yummy, oh, that's good. You happy? And you got the car over there? Well, I'm going to have a talk to Chris, okay, Myra and Eden. So you guys playing here? You happy?
Yeah.
Chris,
Okay.
you've been
I'll
here
try
5
my best.
years. When you're out in the streets talking in whatever, you're a celebrity here in Foster. Like people...
Yeah, but not in a good way. I've been put in. See, now I'm
No,
conscious
that's all
of
right.
it.
No.
Okay.
But not all
started
celebrities are good and bad. Yeah, like you say.
I started getting depressed the other day, which
Yep.
maybe is not me, but me telepathing this elderly gentleman has become a new friend on me on Facebook.
Yep.
But the issue is I have been put in paddy wagons, tortured
Yep.
at 60,
Yep.
put in a formal complaint to the police ombudsman, of which I got feedback was just lies and cover up. Now, so many people, elderly people in this community saw it happen, know it happens, and no one's doing anything. Now, if you don't do anything, you're making life hard for yourself.
Well, I've been through my own issues of overzealous police. Well, someone actually wrote in...
But what you're missing something here.
What?
It was fucking terrifying. I should not be fucking terrified.
Well, you know what the irony is? I'd say about 90% of
Where's
the
the
people
empathy?
writing in on my video with you were just, wow, we love Chris, right?
Yeah.
And then one person wrote in, a girl from North here, going, you shouldn't be doing videos on her. She's mentally ill. I'm going to go and tell the police on you, Jimbo, and get you arrested for the interview.
So-
but you're basically saying as well,
I'm not mentally ill. I'm on a pension, but not from mental illness. In fact, the doctor said you do not have a mental illness.
that's right. And the thing is, people have been classified as mentally ill now if they're different or not normal.
That's what my doctor has said. He said, people don't understand where you're coming from. Chris, I'm going to put you on a pension. I'm going to make up you've got this just to protect you from society.
Wow, nice doctor. We won't tell you who he is, but that's basically
Very old gentleman, he's probably dead now. But
Yeah.
God,
and like a lot of people know you.
I've developed post-traumatic stress from society.
Yeah, there was one. Like I can address rumours. Like people know
Yeah.
you. Someone said, "Oh, she's tried a lot of acid." And
No,
basically,
no.
yeah. Well,
Back in the 70s,
Yep.
when I was a teenager, I probably had 4 or 5 attempts at, 2 acid trips and maybe 3 mushies on the Gold Coast back 40 years ago.
yeah, but you had no adverse effect from it or
Oh,
anything.
no, it wasn't good for me. I have a very, very sensitive brain.
Yep.
It wasn't good for me, but I didn't flip out or anything.
Yeah, and
I knew it wasn't good.
Have you always had this telepathic ability since
Yes,
a kid?
but it became far more intense.
Yeah.
Right. When I was bashed up in the street in Albany
Yep.
and threw me straight into menopause.
Really?
And from then on, I was just totally wide open telepathically.
Right. Okay. In Albany, in WA,
And bashed up in the streets.
in WA.
Yeah, people bashed up in the streets and killed in the streets in Albany.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've got a good mate in Cranbrook just above there, Woody, at his pub. But yeah, so you're the idea of mentally ill now. What interests me when she was saying don't do this with her just because she's mentally ill, right? I'm saying even if you were mentally ill, like, are you not meant to? One, am I
What
just
is
meant
mental
to?
illness?
Exactly.
Society is mentally ill.
Well, she
And
was-
I mean that from a in-depth research anthropological.
Well, she was talking about
Thank
what you were talking about with it. She was basically saying, I think you're a victim and I want to defend you. But in your initial video, the first thing you said, we've got a victimisation culture.
Yeah.
Well, the irony is,
Oh,
like,
there's
she was
so
being the
much I could
bully,
tell. Yeah.
and then she was projecting it onto you as a victim. She took her comments down afterwards.
But I think you'd find, whoever that was, the commenting, if you look into her history, she'd have some connection with mental illness personally.
Yeah.
That no one helped to cope with it or understand
and
it
she's
well.
projecting it onto
Yeah.
you. Well, I often get that with
That's the whole social media.
Well, I often have that with Gary, the goat, particularly before he became well known. I had people coming up to me, mainly women, and abusing me for abusing my goat, right? And I couldn't work out why. And I worked it out later that they were relating to me as someone who had abused them in the past, and
Yeah.
the goat was them. And I'm just sort of going, okay, that's your shit, not mine. I'm not going to react to it. So,
But how can we heal them of their shit?
well,
Because that makes life, this is the way, I'm that lazy,
yeah.
right, that I want life to be that easy that I went to university and I studied primarily the causes of violence in society, because violence is hard work. And violence makes me stress.
Well,
And
like you
stress
say,
is hard work.
even
So how can I
depression
make
is
them
hard
more-
work, isn't
yes.
it?
So how can I find answers to stop people being violent, depressed, anxious, so that my life's easy? Because I'm lazy.
Well, like you said, laziness is seen as a bad thing
Girl.
these days, but laziness
Girl.
is where
I'm
you
more
get
conscious of camera, so-
efficient.
But I'm probably more conscious of camera, not because I am, but because of the environment I'm in.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's with this laziness thing? Like, I relate to it as in terms of, say with me, if I just go around just enjoying my life with the goat and the kids, it's easy, but I found it hard with the business end of it when I have to film and upload and get costs and everything. But
Yeah.
where I think, you know, the Anglo, you're big on the Anglo culture, the ley lines. What were they you were talking about?
Oh, good there. Good. Just looking where the kids are. Well, what happened was,
Are they like, you know, the Aboriginal?
I don't know a lot. They're energy lines
Yeah.
that the British believe crisscross the land and have meaning. That's why I called my daughter. My daughter's name has ley in it, you know, like the ley lines. But I wasn't big into it, but I'd read about it. And then when I first came to the community, I walked the whole community, everywhere, to try and find the best energy.
Yeah.
And I finally found one place where I go and sit all the time to recharge.
In Foster?
In Foster. Right?
Wow.
Anyway, there's a whole sort of group of people walk up and down. It becomes a little, you know each other. And one guy came over to me and he said, "Do you know about ley lines?" I said, "Yeah, a little bit." He said, "I didn't know anything about them." And then this friend said, "You know, have a look at this and look at the ley lines." And he said, "Do you know what, Chris? Where you chose to sit is the crossing of two power points. I think it's a very healing place."
Right. So you got acknowledged there.
I get it. And if we can find healing places and
The
make places more healing.
The Aboriginal culture's big. I don't know much about it, but one of the
a little bit.
I've addressed the when people go. A couple of people said, "Oh no, she had too much acid," which is bullshit, right?
Yeah, bullshit.
Because they've said
If they knew really what happened to
Yeah.
me, they'd be crying tears and tears and tears.
and also
And they'd go, "Why does society do that?"
also they were saying, as in you're coming out with racial stuff as well, but you don't.
It's not racial.
No, it doesn't.
I'm an anthropologist.
Yeah.
See, so what they're doing is, I was sitting on the bus the other day. I'm a storyteller, right?
Yeah.
I was sitting on the school bus the other day, and I'd been talking to some Aboriginal people at Taree, and we all got on and had to catch the school bus back to here. And I was sitting sort of on the aisle next to the Aboriginal young man.
Yeah.
And there was some, for want of a better word, Anglo-Saxon schoolgirls there. And I was talking something about black dog.
Yeah.
And
Depression.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And this young girl, and this is just an example, symbolic example of misunderstandings.
Yeah.
This young white girl turns to me and said, "You're being racist." I said, "It means depression." Winston Churchill said it, right?
Yeah.
But to cut a long story short, that young Aboriginal man asked me out to dinner. You know,
and then you get...
He wasn't misinterpreting.
And then someone picks it up
white
and just
person was
tags you as a racist,
yes.
and then it goes around town that you're a racist.
Yes, exactly. That's been happening.
Yeah.
I have this.
And I mean,
Even in this mall, someone complained, and what I said, for what you said, tag me as a racist, and I've been kicked out of the mall because they've misunderstood what I'm saying.
I'm glad we cleared that. And getting onto the racist issue, right? Because I think it's such a big thing now. My view on racism, right?
Racism's hard work,
It's hard work. I mean, just to clarify this, I actually don't mind people being racist if they let it out so I can talk about it.
Yeah.
I think actually just labelling someone as a racist and using that as an excuse to shut them up is not healthy.
This is what I'm channeling and telepathing from Aboriginal people, though they're not actually telling me. They're saying you're doing us harm by saying someone's racist, right? Because that doesn't create more harmony with us.
Well, I totally agree, and I mean, as you know, you've got half Asian grandkids,
yes,
and so in terms of anyone's thinking I'm racist, I'm a pretty dumb racist in terms of I've got half Asian kids. Just want to clarify that. But the whole racist thing.
And my best friend at high school was Aboriginal. And my second was French, and I get it.
You know this whole thing of globalism now. They're shutting down nationalism and religion, and they're just going, no, we've got to love and peace. But they're putting a globalist agenda on top of it, right?
Yeah.
And one of the big things is don't be racist, but because otherwise Nazis and Ku Klux Klan will arrive. And I'm thinking, no, how about you just let people talk? If you think that everyone will turn racist,
them out of the racism. Educate them out of them. You're not going to change them from being racist with a big stick.
And if you think people are going to become racist just because so-called racists are allowed to speak, you've got a pretty dim view of humanity, thinking everyone's going to do that.
See more and more clarity.
Yeah, you got a friend over there, Mai. Yeah.
And I wasn't brought up in any racist way.
No. Well,
whatsoever.
I'm glad we're just checking it all out. So
yes, I get it. And also looking at, say, being an anthropologist, I've had a great interest in Aboriginal people anyway.
Yep.
But say my grandparents on my mother's side, who back in that era did the prime nurturing, were English. So they weren't brought up with any prejudice towards Aboriginals. In fact, the first Aboriginal to go to university got the inspiration by going over to England and seeing what it was like.
Yeah.
To see other ways. So we can't beat it out of people. We've got to teach them.
Just let it all out.
Exactly.
And you're letting it all out in the street. A lot of people...
What it was I was in this mall and I was yelling, you're all, and it was, you're all a bunch of how do I say it? You're all a mob of blacks. You're all
Yep.
a mob of blacks. Whereas I think the Aboriginals saw the facetious irony I was coming from. It was irony. And other people didn't see the irony.
And you get kicked out of the shopping
Well,
centre and
yes.
branded as a racist.
Yeah.
So,
And
well,
it was extreme irony.
well, a lot of people you're one of the most well-known people in Foster. A lot of people are writing in going, hang on, I wouldn't mind talking to this lady now.
Good,
Like it's too,
good.
like you're saying, you felt my energy in the car, you're saying off camera.
Yeah.
It's so full on. So I'm hoping a lot of people will just go, okay, want to have a talk to you.
Now, have you noticed that since this child came,
Yeah.
your kids have got overly energetic. So something in the energy is
Yeah.
hyping them up, making them feel a sixth planet line
Yeah,
up,
well,
so to speak.
I want them to be,
Right.
they've just been around adults lately, so
I get
another
it.
kid.
No, that's not about blame. We've got to see nothing as blame, but we're analysing, making life easier. Yes, go.
Well, there
Well,
we
he's still
go.
at a certain age. She's now at an age where she's becoming more aware. So suddenly the energy isn't as easy.
Suddenly the what?
As she's getting older at her age, the energy is not as easy.
Yeah.
You got to work a bit harder because she's forming more ego,
Yeah.
and we just to be aware of that.
Yeah.
We don't have to be frightened of it.
What's your opinion on ego? Is it? I mean, you got to have a bit.
You've got to have ego, and they said you and I. Now I found out you're Piscean. One of the Pisceans' greatest issues in life, and this is what I was taught anyway, is that we have to find the ego. That is our spiritual path, where everyone else's spiritual path really is to get out of ego.
Right. Okay. Well, that's
We have a
why.
different spiritual
That's
path.
why I actually I don't know what it's why. My comedy works better when I'm having hecklers from the crowd, or when I've got Gary, or I've got the kids, or I'm talking with you. Right.
Yeah.
Not that this is a comedy piece. And you actually connect with it. You're just putting yourself right out there by just talking to people, even if they're not listening consciously.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's hard. I can be distracted very easily, telepathically. It's
Yeah,
just,
well,
this is my comedy routine in a way. I invented telepathy so to make life easier, and I'm being ironic, but unfortunately everyone's in pain, so I got to heal them of their pain to make life easy, and I can't do it alone.
well, that's a big job.
Yeah.
You must
I get it.
need to have rest from that as well. 'Cause
Yes,
like a
I
comedian
need
or performer
time
or
out.
anything, you need time out every now and to recharge. And then when you recharge, you can't wait to get back into it.
Yes, because I have a passion from a young age. I had a passion to help humanity.
Well, Chris, I think you've helped a lot of people on these videos, and talking to people like you is what it's all about for me travelling around the country. So,
Right.
just
Right.
thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Eden, you give Chris a ducko. That's a cuddle in Japanese. You give her a ducko, Eden.
Ducko.
You give her a ducko. Give her a high. Yeah, give her a ducko. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And Maya, you go up and give Chris a ducko.
See, interestingly, now this is interesting. My energy's working better with Maya at the
Yeah.
moment. Now I'm finding my energy working better with my granddaughter as she gets older.
Yeah.
So it's just who we are personally, but also what energies we're vibing in, which you can compensate. Yes, thank.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm vibing in better with this energy
And
now.
we've got to make judgments on people, but just having a snapshot judgment on someone, like people have made on you, going, she's on acid and she's racist, is completely wrong.
Then people, you're making life so hard for yourself. You've got to get lazier and get knowledge, because knowledge makes your life so much easier. In ignorance is hard work.
Chris, I will leave it on that one. Ignorance is hard work, and thanks for enlightening a lot of people out there on a lot of different things.
Okay. Cool.
Actually, Chris, we'll do. Yeah, that's me. Hey, yeah, Chris, we'll do one more thing. We're talking about. You find it hard to block out all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
but you've got to deal
especially
with
when
it.
I'm under a lot of pressure and stress, which I am at the moment.
Yep.
Sometimes I can do it quite well.
And I find it hard to, like, all the business end of doing this. Like, I'm trying to set up an e-commerce shop, but I'm getting someone else to do it, getting someone else to book my tours, someone else to do my
We
accounting.
have the perfect avenue here. Anyone watching this or knows someone who wants to work with you.
Well, I basically, at the moment, I'm looking for a car to get up to Brisbane, right?
There you go.
Which is where I'm meeting Yumi.
Yes.
And then we're going to go out and see
Yes,
Gary the goat.
Yes.
So if anyone in
Sure,
Foster,
yeah, anyone in Foster,
Has-
anyone who knows anyone that's travelling up the
Got a
Brisbane
car.
Sea,
Just need a car for a
this
couple
is
of months.
what-
I'll give
this
it back.
makes life easier.
And
Cool, for all of us. You give
Just
it
putting
in
it
a
out
week,
there.
You feel good. That makes life easier.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Chris,
I get it.
that's what I need. I need a car pretty soon to get this, to get up and get my goat out of Linda's place. He's just going apeshit out there. Thanks, Linda and Neville, for holding the fort with Gary. And Chris, what do you need? What do you need on a practical level?
Oh, good one. I need friendship, but what I need is, though this might be just something that's playing around in my head at the moment, but I need, and I admit if someone has some better feedback, give it to me. I need compensation for the gross things that have been done to me in this community. Gross. Now, can I tell one more story?
Yeah.
Okay, working through a lot of stuff when I was younger, and I'd go to all these psychic healers and they'd all say, your father, might put it in different ways, but they keep saying, your father left a black spot on your base chakras. In other words, your security and safety area.
Is it, people would be interpreting that as sexual abuse?
No, it wasn't sexual.
No, yeah.
No, even the psychic healers said,
Yep.
thank you, but you're doing that because people will misinterpret it.
Just answering people
I
out
get
there.
it, cool. And what it was just, as a child, he made me not feel safe. He was, maybe because he wasn't.
Yep.
And it was heavy on me. No, nothing drastic.
Yep.
I get it. And they'd say, oh, I see your mum holding your hand, but your dad's frightened. But he was going through his stuff too.
Yep.
We're all working on his stuff. But we moved forward, and then I went to another psychic healer, and they said, we're picking up something down in that region, right? What is it? Now, I said, something happened, they said, that interrupted your spirit. And so this could be interesting, because when I was 12 years old, they had to rush me to hospital and they had to remove one of my ovaries.
Yep.
And she said, that child was so distressed, that child, me, at 12, that you have to now go and try and heal that child. And she said, go back in time, see that child and hug her. Right? And I said to her, that doesn't feel right to me. That just does not, this does not feel right for me. But I thought, oh, well, she might know what she's talking about. I'll give it a go. And I tried it, and that child started clawing at my eyes. Yeah, me, the inner child, I thought, well, I was right, that didn't work. Anyway, so I thought, what does this child need to hear? And what it was, I said, the adults were appalling and you had every right to be frightened, and the child felt safe again. And that's what I need to hear in a way, and a lot of us, and it needs to be sorted out in this community.
You need to feel safe.
Yes, and the things that were done to me, I had every right to be terrified, and we have to stop the adults being appalling and the things they are doing. The police are shocking. There is so much. The commercial sector is fearful and terrifying of people. It's everywhere. We have to all, the inner child in us, we have to say, what is happening here is appalling.
Well, thank you, Chris. That's a big issue, basically looking at the
So we can
hurts
be healed.
you have from childhood, and acknowledging it, and also not projecting that hurt onto other people as well as a way of dealing with it.
Well, I went out and tried to heal it, but I'm seeing a community.
Yeah.
You know, the appalling things being done. It's.
So, what do you want?
I want it to stop.
Do you have many friends here in Foster? You are well known.
No, I have no real friends. I know lots of people, but I have no real friends.
This doesn't have to be yes or no, obviously, but would you like a friend here in Foster?
I'd like many friends. I don't think one's ever enough.
Yeah. So instead of like you do, you're projecting yourself out in the street, talking to no one. Would you appreciate going, I'd like someone to go out and have a coffee with or a chat with?
Yeah, well, I've had people want to.
Yeah.
And a few have wanted to, but the issue is that I don't think they're prepared to have the empathy for me, that what I'm dealing with, what abuse has been done to me in this community, they're not prepared to say, this is wrong, we have to get out and make life easier here. And they're not prepared to say how difficult it is as a telepath. So how can they be
Well,
friends?
I
They
think
can't be.
a few people in Foster area got a bit of an insight into Chris. So if you want to contact Chris, you're basically opposite the fruit shop mainly,
Well,
aren't
I'm
you?
on Facebook too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we want to share that too much. God.
Do you want me to put your link in it?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Coughing
So-
over that. I hope it'll be all right.
Yeah, and if it's all right, just shut it down. But thanks for your permission.
Go on.
And in the meantime,
The most important thing is to clean up the shit and protect us all.
yeah, well,
Put it out there.
that's on a global scale.
No, just here. The police are doing abuse. The commercial sectors are simply doing abuse. That is not normal in other towns.
Believe me,
It is in other towns, is it?
it's normal,
Go
and
on.
it's not to say that there aren't good cops or aren't good commercial entities, but giving them a carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want and immunity while you try and fight them in court when they've just got unlimited funds to beat you.
Do you know what I thought the other day? I was thinking about how the anthropologists and human rights lawyers got the great compensation for the Noongas over in Western Australia. I thought, okay, I'm a great anthropologist. I'm calling in great human rights lawyers.
Okay, if there's a human
That'd be
rights
a good
lawyer,
friends for me, but it's a metaphor.
But what do you actually
It's a
want? Do you
metaphor.
actually want money from it, or just acknowledgement that what was done was wrong, or both, or?
I don't. Well, maybe I should want money, but I don't know. I don't feel a strong need for it.
Yeah.
But I want acknowledgement. But also within that, if there was acknowledgement and we were all working at the right place, then there could be opportunity for small employment for me to make money
Right. Okay.
because I've got a lot of skills.
Well, there's the crux of the issue. Even more than friendship, who can give Chris a job? She's
I
got
want
a.
a pension. I just want a little.
She's got a lot of skills. So, yeah, I need a car to get up to Brisbane to carry these two safely. And Chris would like a job in Foster, so we're going to sign it off there.
God,
Thanks,
cool.
Chris.
Thank you.